If you like what we giving, man, you know, this is our Sunday service or a Sunday school, whatever you want to call it. If you was here in Arizona and you were coming to my temple and my school, no matter if you was a student or not, if you was coming on Sunday to get the messages, wouldn't you give a donation? And that's all I'll be asking, brothers. It's like, come on, man. There's certain things that if we like what's going on, if you was physically here, no matter if you were a student or not, if you coming to visit the temple on Sunday to get ministered to, wouldn't you give a donation? Because you like what's going on and help. And when you see what we got going on and see what we're building, that's all I'd be saying, man. It's like, come on. If we love our brother, just like if it was you, and if I'm rocking with what you're doing, and I come on there every time and you're feeding me, and I'm learning things and I'm illuminating, and brothers is loving on each other like we supposed to do, it's not worth something. And I'm a real established school, non-profit. I tell Moorish, you can get everything from me, all books, everything. When you remember, you don't have to go outside and order books and things from nobody else. I have a full library. Any book that you think you can get that you want, I have them and I can get them. That's what we got to understand. Because when you take our finances and just give it somewhere else and say, oh, I can get it from this person or this company, and it might be for a little, maybe a smaller price. But what you're doing, you're buying something. Listen what I'm saying, the law and the science. When you're connected to a school or anything that they have, if it's like a religious organization with a taxism status, what you're doing, that's your contribution to your organization, to your religious organization, legally and lawfully. Are we clear? Don't we know this stuff? We don't sell nothing when you're a part of it. Just like when so-called churches are doing dinners, that's fundraising. They fall under, what'd you say, Mom? Nothing. They fall under a certain tax bracket, Moors. So, before we even get into this teaching, man, I like to thank everybody, for their patience. Like I said, the first set of literature went out. I order so much stuff, man, from vendors. A lot of times I buy them out and they have to keep printing a lot of stuff. So the first order of books went out. Like I said, your feds is going to be coming in a different package. So I just want everything to be up and up with everybody. I'm not a one-man crew per se, but it's just family right now. Me, myself, and my parents are out here. But usually it's me and my empress doing things. And that's what I tell people. I'm trying to create a real body. One body in many parts. It's a lot that come with me. I have a lot of machines. That's why I said when we build, especially when Moorish be out here in Arizona and we have the physical temple, when we see each other, then we can start really making money together, doing things. Be like, if you got skills, we don't have to talk about the outside world. We use our finances to create wealth within our organization, within our nation. All the hats, all the shirts, all that. I have the machines right in my storage. And that's what we do. We become self-sufficient and our Moorish dollars circulate amongst each other. When we meet and greet, when we come together, all of us with our businesses, I will show you how we can shake the paradigm and we create our own Angie's List per se. You follow me, Ma? Mm-hmm. Group economics, real solutions. Not just talking about it, not just following people for the heck of it. We must be willing to come together and meet and greet, for we can, come on, man. We go all other places, right? So I just want I'm giving gratitude, man. I want to thank all the students that's pledged their whole student fees. Thank you. All your literature and feds will be there before class start, guaranteed. But the second batch, I think the second batch of my books over there. I got a second batch in yesterday, and then I should get another batch in hopefully this week. And then everybody will have all their books. It's 2 books that was out of print, Morris. One of the books is the Unto Thee I Grant. If I didn't PDF that to all the students, I would PDF that to you. And our book, I think I got it over there. One of our legal books. And I'll PDF to that, and you can go print that at your own convenience. You can go to Staples or Office Max and just have them print it and just say you want the book binded. And it don't cost that much. Simple stuff. I'm going to show you how to be a boss. You know, nobody can stop what we're doing. I saw the book is out of print, and then they try to sell it for $500. Nah, I got the book. I got it one. And so I'm just going to send the PDF to y'all, and you're just going to print it at your own convenience. Islam. So before I even get into this teaching, I'm going to give my little Moorish prayer, the thing that I like to do before I get in anything. But may the benison of Allah be upon you and always, as we all should strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow the acts of love upon all our brothers, and we should do our best to shun all evil. Remember, Moors, to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that we all might nourish the souls of all men, all women. Let the truth be thy shield in the manifest battles of falsehood. Know that we need not, Moors, we need not to pick the lock to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft, Moors. For behold, the key to salvation already rests within our own hands. And yes, Moors, even though a portion of our nature, or you can say our lower self, but even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, inconsistency, there is still the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah, may Buddha, may Yahweh, whatever name that you give him glory, that's what you do. May him preserve you, give you everlasting peace. Our Moorish prayer, they tell you to stand to the east, but if you once you under my auspices, I'm gonna show you that you are already to the east. Just like my empresses, you are the Eastern Star. You don't have to join no groups outside of you. The DAR are talking about you. Everybody wear the fez and clandestine. That's what the white fez with the gold tassel represents, the Asiatic woman, 9 to the 9 to the 9th power. That's why you need to know science. But Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam, Moors? Islam, Moors? Empress. Oh, you got that? You got that little message pulled up? I mean, I want to show, let me see, one of my brothers, Almighty Moor. I told you, and I think Brother James, I hope y'all got y'all pens, right? Because this for y'all when I tell you, you must defend the law and the Constitution. Look, me and my dad was talking about this yesterday, and I was saying, and I was telling people how it's your right to wear your fez, and then I was breaking, me and my dad was talking about law. Man, I got home from work about 9 o'clock. I looked up, it's damn near 12, 1, 11. This is how our conversations go. So I'm talking about the fez, and I always like to use scenarios. And I said that don't use your mind, because he know the answers, but I said at the average Negro or the average Moor. And so we're talking about court cases, and we're talking about your rights and your religious rights, right? And so what I'm saying is, I tell every Moor, it's your right to wear your religious headdress in court. And the first thing my dad started cracking up, he said, yeah, if you know your law, if you know the law, because if you don't know nothing and somebody asks you, because they're going to challenge you, because they're going to challenge you when they see the fez. That's why a lot of Moors don't wear the fez. I'm telling you, they would wear that fez on the internet. They'll stand on a square per se, all the outward symbology, but they would not wear their fez. I promise you, because a lot of them, they can't defend it. They can't defend it. Man, I know damn near 90% of Moors that can't defend it, and they would take their fez off in court. You would let somebody in a uniform tell you to take your fez off in court, and you won't even defend the laws. You won't even say, for the record, Your Honor, and give them precedented case laws. So when I ask Moors these particular questions, and I say, okay, well, who told you had to take your fez off at work or in court? Do any of y'all know what precedented cases are? Do anybody know what precedented cases are?
Yeah.
Yes or no? And do anybody know the religious laws?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
And be honest, because if you do, then you should defend it, and you should wear your fez proudly and boldly. If you don't know the law, and then say you don't. Talk to me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Look how many thank yous. Look how many people now. Look how many now. Just imagine we times that by every person that just said no. And then times that by every other person that just said no. And then times that by every person just said no. What a Negro would do, and no disrespect to nobody. I'm teaching. That's what Negroes would do. We would just make something up. And do not know the religious laws. And do not know what precedented cases is, so you can defend yourself in court the proper way. And so, as me and my dad was talking, he was cracking up. He said, so the judge gonna ask you, or the referee gonna ask you, take your hat off. And what's the next thing you gonna say?
This is not a hat.
For the record, Your Honor, this is not a hat. And then he gonna say, well, it is a hat.
No, Your Honor, this is part of my religious regalia.
My mama would think, nah, you crazy. But yes, you must defend yourself and prove who you are in the court of law, legally and lawfully. For the record, Your Honor, you may think this is a hat, but the law and the record state X, Y, Z, 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 blah, blah, boom, 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 boom. I don't want to go all into it because that's for school, but I'm finna give you some cases. And I'm going to break stuff down for you can know. I know Moors don't know how to defend themselves. They act like domestic terrorists, and they do everything outside of the law. And I tell everybody, but if we know it's our national headdress, we must break the law down, because you can say that. They be like, okay, well, if it's your national headdress, what are you a part of? And then when Moors, and then it's just like anything. If you're a part of something, you must prove it. If you're part of a school, this, and that, and other, you should have some type of paperwork or real stuff that's like, I'm part of this. And people can speak on your behalf. Am I part of this? Yes. Or I'm just believing this on my own. Or am I covenant with a body of people? And then this body represents me because I'm part of this body. Y'all ain't listening to me. When you represent under the auspices of the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, now you are part of this body. Y'all not listening to me. And and when I say it's your national headdress, so if it's your national headdress, remember we always get to the root. Under the umbrella of national headdress fall the religious laws. All the things for religious. Just like when Negroes got caught up by the Big Six and they got them off human rights, they got them in civil rights. And you should want human rights, because under that umbrella of human rights, all the civil B to the S fall under that. Are y'all clear with this? Are y'all clear, Moors? So I know why Moors don't wear their fez in the real world. I know why Moors don't wear. I know why Moors just take a picture and take their fez off, and you won't see them in the real world with their fez on or their turban. I know why. And you know why too. And we'll bang on each other, and instead of trying to bring brothers up, we'll bang on each other and try to bring brothers up. I know why Moors don't wear their fez and they'll wear a t-shirt. I know Moors don't study. No disrespect to no one. So many Moors talk about they got Black Laws Dictionary. I say, well, if you got Black Laws Dictionary and you saying who you are, why you ain't defending yourself? Why you ain't declaring how due process? Why you ain't go and show them like this is who I am, which Obama told you in 2010 that you have a right of a nationality and a right to change it. And no one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality or a right to change it. And the proof of a child replaces the birth certificate. But why are we going to do that? Why are we not going to correct ourselves? But we're going to try to tell somebody else to do something. That's a hypocrite. That's a damn log. A log can do that. What? Point. That ain't nothing but a log. That ain't nothing but a log. Well, somebody telling somebody what they can do, and I say, well, have you done it? Well, how you know it worked? You ain't even done it. You ain't even done none of the stuff you're talking about. Man, go on with that. Go on with that, man. That's garbage. And then you want to wear your fez with proudness and love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and stand strong on your square and stand strong on science and love. You diss everything and everything comes from you because that's not honorable. So I want to know, why would a Moor wear their fez and you would go somewhere and the first thing anybody that'll get somebody that don't know, they'll knock you down. Now, see, and that's why I love when brothers and come on here and tell the truth. You said no, but what you said, I choose not to wear mine because I don't fully understand how to defend it yet. And see, and that's knowledgeable. And see, that what you just came from is wisdom, noble. And see, that's what a lot of Moors don't. We supposed to let our guards down amongst our noble, especially amongst our adapt, because that shows you that I'm willing to accept teachings, and I give you things to compare to. So why would you do something knowing you can't defend it? Knowing somebody that may think they know more than you, that don't know more than you, they can convince you to do something that you shouldn't do. And I tell people, you said people can't put spells on you. You a damn lie. A spell is words. I can say something to you and make you bow down. I can say something to you and have you fearful. That's a spell. I tell you, words are spell. Make you fearful of what? To wear your fez in public. Take your fez off. What that fez represent? If you take that fez off in court and you can't even defend it in the court of law, that's a spell, right, Mom?
Yeah.
What you need? The keys? I don't know where they at. They on the table somewhere?
What keys?
My keys. Oh, they in here, Mom.
Okay.
You must be under the auspices. You shouldn't be going to no Moorish Science Temple just for no damn social club. That's just like church. Can't nobody call themselves no sheik and they ain't giving you no sheikism. Can't nobody call themselves an adept and they don't know no adept science. They ain't connecting themselves no nature. Can't nobody call themselves no scholar and there's no scholarship. Moorish science ain't just a whole bunch of people coming together talking about old stuff. Moorish science is knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, nature, finances, economics, growth, love, building, nation building, group economics. That's the whole part of being more-ish. If we're going to give the positive aspect, I know what words mean. Somebody say ish is similar to it, but not original. Yeah, the negative connotation, but ish is everything about you. That's the ish. That's the more-ish. We are more-ish. That's how we live, how we covenant. Somebody talk to me. So you should never be afraid to wear your fez. And that's what I tell Moors. I say, our prophet told us, if you don't do anything, you wear your fez. You wear your fez. And if you don't understand about it, you should be willing to be under the auspices and be willing to donate and be willing to be a part of a school. Because the only thing that's going to cost you is being stupid. No disrespect. That costs. But when you're doing something willingly, it's not an obligation. We should be willing to support the ministry. Don't y'all know it's supposed to be divine ministers in the temples? Don't y'all know that? It's supposed to be divine ministers, governors, a grand sheik, sheikess. The temple's supposed to be set up the right way. We don't disrespect our empresses. We have sheikess that speak that wisdom, that speak that knowledge. I told y'all, my mom is a sheik. I bring my mom right here and I put her against anybody when it comes to science. My mama would teach. My empress would teach. She just be shy. My dad definitely would teach. So it's what it is. This is my family. You see? This is what I be telling people. So how can we be a group of Moors and I ask them more, they be part of temples and they do not know the laws. They do not know how to defend their fez. And when somebody asks you something about your fez, you get mad and upset and you won't walk in pride. I wear my fez everywhere or my turban. Nobody can tell me what it is. I operate in love because I know who I am. This is what this is about. Our holy and divine creed and our nationality. And our nationality is nothing but law, nothing but international law, nothing but written in the Constitution. I tell Moors, we abide by the laws. That's what free you. If the so-called laws stripped you or something, well, my God, the laws will correct it. The only way to get out of the fire is you got to go through the fire. I've been through the fire. That's why I said I'm not going to argue with no Negro that should be a student. I don't get upset. The teachings is the ones that teach. And then the vessel must be right. The teachings is the one that teach. And the vessel must be right. Just like money. Money can be used for good. That's Ecclesiastes chapter 10, 19. But you get these Negroes and they lower self telling you money is the root of all evil. That's crap. Ecclesiastes 10, 19. Money trumps all. It's the vessel that has these man-made things that can do righteous things on this earth plane for his people. When much is given, much is required. I'm trying to create something for we can have. So my next question as we proceed with the teaching is, why don't we know the laws that represent this fez when you will be challenged? I tell every Moor, I said, you cannot wear that fez, and when you get challenged by somebody, especially somebody that think they're in authority, you shut down. And then you always say you stand on your skirt with your feet out. I say, well, you need to break that fez down and the historicalness of it and what that fez represents, what that umbilical cord represents, why your fez is not defiled, Why a certain fez is black? Why the fez is maroon? What the white fez represents with the gold tassel when I tell my empresses, you are the Eastern Star and the daughter of American revolutions, buried you in a shallow grave, just like, no disrespect, the European masonry and Negro masonry, Prince Hall has buried you in a shallow grave, Haram Abif from Tyree. It's there. All these are clandestine, political, and religious. But if this is your national headdress, why you can't defend it? And defend it eloquently with love, with a silver tongue. Are we clear? Somebody talk to me, man. Somebody just talk to me, because what I'm doing is setting the stage. What I'm doing is setting the atmosphere. Our prophet, we always like to quote things and put things on Instagram. Our prophet said, be ourselves, didn't he? Absolutely. Now, agree with me or not? Well, no, y'all going to agree with me, because I know a lot of Moors done post this meme. Haven't y'all seen that meme? If we just strip the Moors of the fez and the turbans. Now that was a real constitution that was took out. I emailed that law to a lot of people. Now, how many more saw that meme? How many more saw that meme? How many more saw that, post that meme? Hey, Empress, can you bring me your phone with that case? I'm gonna read to the people, please. How many people post that meme? If you just strip the Moors from the fez and the turbans and they sandals, how many of y'all saw that meme? How many of y'all posted it? How many of y'all saved it? And then I asked Moore, well, where's that in the Constitution? This is what a Moore told me. Moore. See, you a sheik. See, you a scholar. I said, no. If you're going to put something out there for the atmosphere, for the world, and you afraid to wear your fez, you don't know the laws and your religious laws, and your national headdress fall under the religious laws, and then you post a meme, talk about if you just strip the Moors from the fez and the turbans and then they sandals, and I say, where's that in the Constitution? And you can't explain it, because it was taken out. And then my next question, I say, if that's what it is, because that is what it is, why are you afraid to wear your fez and your turban? Why? Somebody answer it. Somebody answer that question for me. Because that was written in the Constitution, and then it was taken out. That was in the Constitution. If the Constitution was written, and because George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, they signed in the Constitution with the 3/5 clause. So if that's in the Constitution that was written before that, it says, if we just strip the Moors from their fez and the turbans and strip them from their history and all that, right? Why are you afraid to wear your fez and turban today? Somebody answer that. Somebody answer that. So how can you be a part of a temple and then especially say you study on your own? This is what a Moor say. They're getting their lower self, because one empress hit me up, and I'm not going to say her name. And she was like, the guy I was going to go in union with introduced me to you. And she was like, he don't even live like he's saying. She was like, he just be talking. She was like, it's not even honorable. And she was like, everything that you trying to tell us in the Quran, and when how you teach from the Quran is how we can be upright, he's not living like that. And I say, well, aren't you glad you didn't marry him? Aren't you glad you didn't go to the union? Aren't you glad you didn't do a Moorish union with that? You see, we must judge things by the Spirit.
Is it going to open it?
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, okay.
So, before I give y'all cases, scenarios, I'm going to give y'all what happened in St. Louis. And a man cannot be fined or jailed for refusing to remove his red fez in a courtroom. State Appeals Court says, the Missouri Court of Appeals ruled an order signed Wednesday that Associate Judge James Dowd and Henry Autry of the St. Louis Circuit Court are barred from punishing Tyrone Burrell L., who wears the fez because of his religion. Now he says religion, but it's his national headdress. Your national headdress fall under religion. I'm telling you, especially when we talk about human rights, because a lot of this fall under your human rights. Y'all not listening to me. Dowd and Autry had fined the St. Louis man $2,000 and sentenced him to 2 days in jail. Burrell L. refused to remove the brimless cap with a black tassel during his appearance before them on 3 occasions. It is customary for the hat to be taken off inside courtrooms as a sign of respect. Now I'm gonna stop right there. The first thing Burrell should have gave him is for the record, Your Honor, and gave him precedent in law and broke the law case down, gave him a doc number and said, for your record, Your Honor, and broke that law down eloquently with love for the record. See, you don't need no attorney on this. See, I'm trying to tell y'all, if you know how to defend the law, I'm gonna show you that it's your right to defend the law if you're competent. Because if the law is the law, the law is the law. And if you can defend the law, you're great. We ain't talking about no criminal stuff here. We ain't talking about no nigga trying to defend himself because he done went out and murdered 15 million people. and gonna get up there talking about, well, I'm a Moor, and all the people I killed, I'm exonerated. Man, go sit your goofy self down somewhere. Are y'all understanding what I'm trying to say? We talk about human rights. We talk about human rights. Let's finish this. So Brother Burrell should have broke the law down for the precedented cases and gave him doc numbers of the cases. They try to say you take a hat off for respect, but this ain't no hat. Let's finish. Burrell L. 35 was arrested December 10th. What was he arrested for? After police stopped him for a traffic violation. I wonder what the traffic violation is. What's the traffic violation? What's the traffic violation? Who knows? The 25 for a 25 caliber automatic pistol hidden in his waistband, and he is charged with carrying a concealed weapon. Now, I'm finna break this down again when I tell us, if we're gonna post a meme that says, if we just strip the Moors from their fez and a turban and all this, which it was the law, and then I say we're Moors today, why are we afraid to wear our fez and a turban? That's the first thing. And number two, why would you let somebody tell you that your fez is a hat and you can't wear it on the job and in court if you a Moor, and if you're a part of a temple, and if you're following somebody that's you calling your sheik? Why don't you know these laws to defend yourself? And that's one of the reasons why a lot of Moors are afraid to wear their fez in the real world, because you can't defend it, and you will be challenged on it. You will be challenged on it. I'm telling you. You will be challenged on it every time, especially if they see like a deer in the headlights. They see you, or the powers that be see you coming with a deer in the headlights. They gonna know you don't know any law. They gonna make you take that fez and tuck it in your hat and tuck it under your arm, especially if you can't defend the law. So Burrell L has maintained he is required to keep his head covered under the rules of the Moorish Science Temple, a set of Islam. The set requires males to wear fezzes and females to wear turbans, he said. Okay, but you need to break the laws down. See, if you know, remember I told you in a court of law, there's no excuse of not knowing the law. So you need to give precedented cases, and you must be matter factual. Because in the court of law, there's no excuse of not knowing the law. Yeah, I hear you, Moorish Science Temple, but okay, it ain't got to be Moorish Science Temple. I can be a Jew. I can be a Indian. I can be anything. I can be Jewish and wear my yarmulke. It's all your hairdress, and it's religious to them. But your our national hairdress, religion fall under our national hairdress. So we get to the root. Are you following me? But Doris Black, Burroughs' attorney, filed briefs to halt Dowd's and Autry's actions against her client. In the brief, she compared the fez to the yarmulke worn by Jews and habits worn by Catholic nuns. Are y'all following me? But then, as the case tried to go on, the judge tried to say that, or the referee, whatever you want to call it, to try to say, well, I researched it, and a lot of this said the people are criminals, and this, that, and the other. And I said, now here you are, you using your counterterry racism, because you're trying to judge a small group of people to everybody. Now, if we did that, well, that's just like saying every no disrespect. I'm giving you an analogy. That's just like saying every European is a racist, and we know that's not true. Or every European is part of the KKK. I'm just saying, if you want to just make an outlandish statement, you understand what I'm saying? Are we clear on some things? So when the Moors say they are Moor and they doing this, I know why we don't wear the fez. I know why we're not connected to nothing. Because they're going to ask you. They're going to ask you what that fez represent. I know so many Moors was like, oh man, they say I can't wear my fez to work. I said, who said? Oh, you don't know the laws. Oh, they told me I couldn't wear my hat. I said, this ain't no hat. You must defend the laws. And when you defend the laws, they're going to shut down. Or beware, because the laws work. You got to already went through the fire to understand how to get out the fire. I done been there. I done done that on a professional stage. Not with nowhere with suits on. I done been in the corporate world. You know. I know. I'm telling you, and most more still. That's why we ain't doing nothing together. They got all that. Let me tell y'all something, man. That we gonna teach. Man, my brother was murdered. My baby brother, killed Jelani Goodman Bay, was murdered by a Negro, black, or colored. Man, I was angry for years in Flint, Michigan. Do y'all hear me? I was already in the spirituality. I grew up in this science, but I was angry as hell, and I was blaming everything on Allah. You know what I mean? I had to get the hell up out of there. I'm telling you, and what worked for me is my empress. When I became a union with my empress, man, I cleaned myself up. I clean, and Moorish science did that for me. I'm telling you, and my empress did that for me. So, and we must be willing to come around the right people. This science shouldn't be something that's buried in the grave. This science is for the whole family. For your babies, your little girls, they should be wearing turbans. Your son should be wearing a fez. Why are you the only one with a fez in the closet? Or you wear your fez like the European masonry and Negro Masons, and only wear it when you snap on Facebook, or in the summertime when it's hot, or you won't wear your turban. But we'll wear these little chains, we'll wear a little shirt, but that don't mean nothing. Why you don't wear your national headdress at all times? Why you don't wear your fez and your turban? Somebody talk to me. You see? Because you're going to be challenged on it. People talk about, oh, when I went to the airport and got on the plane, they made me take it off. That's a lie. My mother would tell you, when they pick me up from Flint from the airport, I come through the airport, my mom's so funny. Here comes the king. Here, everybody looking. I'm coming down with my fez, and I have my stole on. Everybody looking like, who is that? I got my fez on. This is me. Or when I come, I have my turban on. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. So I don't know what Moorish be talking about. I'm cleaning up right. This is a clean glass. I speak eloquently, and nobody judge me like the dirty glass. Nobody. When I go places, I'm honorable. That's why I do business. So I'm gonna give you another case about your so-called religious headdress, which I know Moors don't know laws. That's why they don't wear the fez, and they just argue. And they just post up, oh, here go black laws. But I'm like, okay, where if that's what it is, why are you not correcting yourself? Why are you on here doing messages and stuff, talk about, look at this, look at this, look at that? I'm like, well, if that's the case, why haven't you done what you're supposed to do, legally and lawfully? Forget the Moorish Science Temple of America. Screw all that. All Noble Drew Ali did is defended the Constitution. The laws work. What did Obama tell us in 2010? We have a right of a nationality and a right to change it. And no one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality. Man, don't y'all know what nationality really means in law? That's connected to your human rights. Man, I don't know what Moors be talking about. I do not know what Moors be talking about. Goldman versus Weinberger, an Orthodox Jew, an ordained rabbi, was ordered not to wear his yarmulke while on duty and in uniform as a commissioned officer in the Air Force at March Air Force Base. But as you look up the case law, he won. Look up the case law. He won. You cannot be denied your religious headdress. These are facts. Research Jensen versus the Superior Court. Kenneth Jensen wears a turban. This was an attorney under the Bar Association. He is a turban-wearing lawyer. Jensen refused to answer Judge Levitt's questions about his turban. Then the judge denies him access to, he tried to say, his court. But it ain't your court, it's the people's court. That's what you got to understand. Then the laws take its course. If you know the laws, how can you defend it? You got to defend it. You don't have to answer nothing because the judge know the law. Remember I told you, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you if you don't know what the hell you saying. All you got to do is just like when they try to challenge you. I just break the text down. I just break the law down. I'm not finna convict you ain't finna convict me. I'm gonna give you precedent in cases. For the record, Your Honor, XYZ. 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 Law. That ain't been abolished. Law. That ain't been abolished. That's why you see all foreigners and Middle Easterners, which is not a such thing as Middle East, they know the law. You see doctors, lawyers, they wear their fez. They wear their yarmulke, the Jews, the so-called Indian, wear his turban. But the Negro or the so-called Moor, that's misnomer. He won't even wear his fez. He won't even wear his turban. Why? Because he afraid. Now y'all know I'm telling the truth, and I ain't talking about no individual. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. Y'all know I'm telling the truth, man. How are we going to be afraid? And when this is who we are, and our prophet told us to be ourselves. And these people are other nationalities, no disrespect. Mason, European, Western Mason, they're sons of Muslims. Damn it, if somebody's the son, somebody got to be the daddy. Who you think the daddy is? Who you think the father of? I just told you they buried you in a shallow grave in memory of who? Haram Abif. If we're gonna tell a story, and then when we talk about our empresses, they are the Eastern Star, they are Mayat, they are Asar. That's the white faith with the gold tassel. What are we talking about? This is our national headdress. What's the problem? You see? This ain't, and see, it's not established right. You know? This is what I be saying. I told y'all, Carter G. Woodson told us what? The miseducation of the Negro. We've been lied to by our so-called teachers, our so-called preachers, our so-called sheiks. And then stolen legacy. When all our young people, they get taught about Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, and all that's connotated Egyptian history. And I done broke that down a million times. I did this on college campuses. I steady pull Negro, blacks, and color. Remember our prophet said, when you in your low, when we were in our lower self, you weren't responsible for the things that you done. But when you come about of that, you are responsible. Just like the biblical scripture says, when I was a child, I act like a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish ways. We have to be willing to say we were sick, per se, and come up out of that. We have to be. If not, that means we hanging ourselves. And we're not willing to be right. We're not willing to covenant. We always was about this. That's the only way we can build. How? Under the laws, under the religious laws, under the national laws. It protects us. All right? I'm telling you. What we're going to talk about today, is about religion. Because this is my solar return. We got to, we're getting ready to get out of here. We're going to have a good time, my family. I do family stuff, man. But the subject is religion, Moors. And it usually involves matters of the heart. That's how I know, this is how I know Moors don't study. And I say, because a lot of stuff be big, just like law cases. Man, I know more don't read the whole law case. Man, I'll show you one precedent in law case. It's probably 500 pages. You must be willing to go through all that with a fine-tooth comb. Because the science might be on page 386 out of 500. Just like contracts, how people be signing bold contract. Everything in a contract ain't an empress. I tell people, I got hustle. I signed a bad record deal. What you just say? You signed it because everything in a contract. You ain't had nobody. You stop being excited over the pageantry. Everything in the contract. If the contract big, if what you want in the contract, who made you sign it? Come on, man. Ain't nobody lied to you. But rituals and perceptions of a deity of God and our prophet, just like I teach. Man's highest idea is his God, right? Man's God today, tomorrow, may not be God because as man unfolds, his God unfolds. That's in our Moorish Quran, chapter 10, verse 16. Therefore, we're going to talk about religion through wars, all this, millenniums, all this stuff, so we can bring us out shallow graves. This is things we got to do because we are a clean and upright people. And this nation, which is the Moorish Americans, that brought us back to who we are. Our prophet Noble Drew Ali, when I said we were Moorish by our birthright, Noble Drew Ali told us he brought something back to us that was already there when we were stripped from our thinking. Don't y'all know we had so many scholars in the flesh? If we're going to obey all laws and the prophets, the ones that we can't see, that we say we believe in all laws and the prophets, Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, Yahweh, blah, blah, blah. But you ain't going to believe in the scholars that was back in those times that wrote literature as well and told you that you wasn't no Negro, from Carter G. Woodson to Chancellor Wilson to Amos Wilson to Francis Cress Wilson to Sheikh Anadiat to Ivan Van Sertima. I mean, even the European wrote about us and told us who we are. So no one lied to you. Your own people have. When we talk about the rejected cornerstone, the lost tribe of Shabazz, the lost nation of the West, and the return of the ancient ones, the Ishmaelites, the tribe of All, or the tribe of Ali, the 144,000. Martin Luther King Jr. referred to them as we, as a people, will get to the promised land, per se. Oh, thank you, Islam. Thank you, man. Thank everybody for the great message for my solar return. I'm going to have a good day today, man, with the family. We're going to eat good today. But our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and myself, we try to teach this science. And what our prophet gave us, which was buried in law, the true free national name. And we claimed it. Proclaim, declare, and we have due process. And naturally, our prophet had to break the Roman seals in order to redeem his people hidden right in those things or in those connotations, Moors. But it's only fair to forewarn our brothers and sisters. Like I said, I give benevolence, you know. Oh, Islam, yeah, it's my solar return. Thanks, man. Thanks, everybody. See, like I said, man, a lot of stuff I just don't be, I got to give homage because I used to be real reserved. Because I told y'all when my brother was murdered, man, I was real reserved. I didn't trust nobody. Do you hear me? I didn't give a damn you had a fez on. I don't give a damn you coming with that Islam noble. I'm looking at you like, man, if you don't get away from me, I know your heart ain't right. I'm looking at you like a killer. Because I'm like a nigga killed my brother, excuse my candor. So I was looking at every Negro, black and colored out in their lower self exactly like that. I had to get out of Flint. Because that's how I was looking at everybody. And that's how what the great God Allah was putting on in my spirit. He was telling me to get away because I had to. But let's finish. But y'all see what I'm saying? I take this dear to the heart, man. But Islam, everybody, for the kind words. But this is a new era, man. This is a new era. Our prophet told us we got to let them old Moors that's talking all that hogwash, lying on the temple. It's time for us to come in and be around the right auspice and take this to the next level, legally and lawfully. Because if we want to claim who we are, it's a way to do it legally and lawfully. I'm going to teach y'all what the AA22 number really is in international law. That would mean when we get 30,000 Negro, blacks, and colored to proclaim, declare, and have due process. What? Sign a petition. Man, it's 30,000 Moors all over the world. It's 30,000 Moors all over the world. So if brothers and sisters part of Moorish science temples and they operating right and they not telling people about the real AA22 number is when we proclaim, declare, and have due process, only then we can take that to the world courts and now we can have a fight. Is what? Reestablishing ourselves back to what we were. You ain't getting no reparations until we restore who? Everybody as a collective group. Just like any petition, any political office, it must be a certain amount of signatures to have this thing on the ballot. Y'all talk to me, man. I'm giving you analogy. I'm giving you scenarios. Somebody talk to me. Most Moors not taught the national side of this science, which fall under the Constitution. That's why I say you can't be unequally yoked. Oh, all I teach about the civics. And then, no, I teach about the spirituality. You're not no sheik. You must teach about the SO and the XO. Real talk. But what we do, we infuriate these lower cells, these lower so-called gods. And everything they talk about evil is really African expressions. When I told y'all all animal heads and things are nothing but pious hieroglyphs. I'm telling y'all, they are nothing but pious hieroglyphs. That's why when every manifestation, you this. In religion, you're Jehovah Nissi, Jehovah Jireh, all that. Different manifestations. Y'all not listening. We losing it. Our animal instincts or our shamanic experience. We got to get deeper with these Gnostic teachings and understand and start synchronizing things. Moors? Right? We got to get this Western thought process out of our Moorish bodies. This is a new time. It's a new day. I'm coming with wisdom. We coming in the image of Allah. Satan claiming to be in the image and the likeness of Allah. We're going to remove and uncover the shadow of our lower selves. And all that's going to pass away. Man, when I started teaching, I said, I'm a divine minister in the temple. I'm going to teach y'all all about this Adam and Eve story. Nobody should hide stuff from us. If we're sheiks and we're Moors, we all want to be in our higher self. We teach all the lessons to all our pupils. We must. That's the duty of a teacher. So then we all can be operating as one, synchronized. All modern religions carry at least a reflection of truth somewhere near the cornerstone. And all truth is one, and one truth never contradicts another truth. So there is a bond harmony in religions and the earth where all nations can learn to love instead of hate. So the word religion derives from the Latin word religio, R-E-L-I-G-I-O. Man, Cash App $ KGB if you like what we saying. I got another platform going on here with some family in Michigan. They like, what's your Cash App number? We want to send it. It's Cash App $ KGB. That's what I tell Moors. That's what I say. If you was in the temple, if you was a student or not and you coming to visit, wouldn't you give a donation? I tell Moors, when you get a donation, I got about 20 books that we gathered and compiled. Divine Creed of Moors, Islam, Sufism, all the stuff that you need to know. Send donations, man. Just like if you was at the temple, Moors go to churches and go to them temples and give a donation, you don't get nothing. I know Moors don't even have the Moorish Quran. How can you say you study the teachings and you don't have the Moorish Quran? Because everything else is just law. But religio or creeder, C-R-E-D-E-R-E, or credo or creed, and basically means a system of beliefs or faith. So then I asked Moors, do you understand or understand whatever catchphrase you want to use, the divine creed of Moorish Islam? They be like, no. I said, well, you need to know. I wrote the literature. Look. That's what I be telling Moors. I'm like, the literature right here. The literature right here. What that say? Interpretation of the divine creed of what? Moorish Islam. The literature right here. But we be in our lower self. We don't want to give roses to our nobles in the flesh. That's helping us. I mean, the teachings is right here. Adapt Study Guide, The House of Ali, The Egyptian, Adapt, Prophet and Angel. I mean, what are we talking about? Black scholars who debunk Eurocentric propaganda when our babies don't know about our scholars that was writing about this science. Oh, that's our vegan cookbook. Delectable Vegan Treats. What's this? Sufism and the triple role of the Adapt Chamber, featuring the Committed and Adapt Manual and the use of our carpenter tools. I mean, what? Man, every Moor should have this. Every Moor should have the literature. 14 famous Asiatic sciences in history. Every Moor should have the literature. So when Moors donate, and that's what I mean, when Moors donate, I will send you literature. So every Moor should have the book. No Moor should be confused on what our divine creed of Moorish Islam is. You shouldn't be. Because your brother wrote the manual. That's what I be telling Moors. Most Moors ain't nothing but a shade tree mechanic. All you're doing is changing your brakes. You can't help nobody. You can't write the manual. You can't change your engine. You can't change your transmission. You can't change your radiator, but you can change the brakes. Well, my brakes ain't messed up. I know how to fix my own brakes. You can't help me. You limited. You limited. And it's no disrespect to no one. It's no disrespect. The Africans or the Asiatic, the Africans per se, developed the first religious creed and used it as a cornerstone for building character during the civilizing of the world. We never went through no dark ages, but being the first humans created, we were the prototype. These sun-kissed, don't y'all know where sun-kissed come from? Mwah. These sun-kissed, when I show you in the scripture, they be like, the sun has been kind on me. It's just telling you that I am dark like the curtains of Kedar. That's all. Still knowing their oneness with the Creator. He marked the only pathway, uniting divinity to matter, the finite and the infinite, the cherubim, the seraphim. Are y'all following his teachings? And Moors won't give us a donation. These are teachings. That's why I said when school started, none of this, it's all over. The African people consciously fashioned religion as scientific law because law is the only thing that governs all events. And Western religions are the Greek-Roman version of the African sacred schools of thought. And to a large degree, Moors, what we see today as religion pale in contrast, Moors, to the God realization. It's just out of body and it's connotated of the ancient ones and the essence of the word religion. Remember when I talk about the triple role of the Adapt Chamber? Most Moors don't know it. I wrote the manuals. Here they go. You must understand the essence of it. I wrote the manuals. I tell y'all, when we say we don't know what the divine creed of Moorish Islam, you confused because you don't have the manuals. Somebody telling you garbage. But the word religion, as used today, is but a shadow interpretation, Moors, of the original Egyptian holistic system. And it is the nature of a true religious creed to teach the practitioner to learn, to know, and to worship the great God within. And if a religion introduced a medium between man and himself as God or a prophet, man or earthly manifest, it is not a true religion. So anything that tell you need to believe in something outside of yourself, Al-Islam, European Christianity, Negro Christianity, European Masonry, Negro Masonry. Negro Masonry is Prince Hall. You got some God outside yourself. You got some potentate. All hogwash. When the God to worship resides in a place other than the heart. Where do we find Allah? In the heart. The worshiper denotes to sacrilege. And today religions separate, isolate, and it causes more harm than help, nobles. And the so-called modern religions have created more wars and sanctions, more battlefield executions than the so-called slave lynching in Americas. We gotta get this science right. And an ancient commit from where all today's religions derive, thought man's uniting with his God. When I did a lecture on the college campus, and I had all these brothers in these Greek fraternities, and I said, I love all y'all because I'm coming in love, but I'm coming with a divine warning. I said, how many of y'all think y'all some Greek? They all stood up with that Greek stuff. And when I showed them that was all stolen legacy, and I said, everybody that called themselves getting a so-called degree in African American studies, raised their hand. Darn near all of them. I said, you need to throw that degree in the trash if you hadn't read Stolen Legacy by George G. and James. You need to throw that in the trash. Because if you think you some Greek god and you think Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle are the great thinkers and the mathematicians and the sciences in the world, you have been lied to. That's pseudo-academia. And I did this on college campus. Had them Negroes in there crying. You doing all that jumping and dancing around, all that. But this is stolen legacy. No disrespect. This is stolen legacy. Ain't nothing Greek about you on that aspect. Even with the no disrespect, even with the boule. The boule was created to go against Garvey. Du Bois, he wanted to create it. He didn't want the educated brothers to be with Marcus Garvey. We have to research things. Just because somebody dead and gone don't mean they were your elder. You're going to conjure up some spirits that will win against everything that you believe in. Shoot. But in ancient Kemet, from where all today's religion derive, it taught man's uniting with God through concentrated, through meditation, our wudu, you know, would you say that book is life? Cognitive dissonance is what some suffer from. Yep. Thought and remembrance. And it was the utmost foundation to events of life. And the unseen great spirits was seen in all things, especially man himself. See, we get in all these catchphrases, and I ask some more. Where do you see Allah in the heart? So if you see Allah in the heart, why are you talking about, oh, you going to the temple, you going with the imams? I said, that ain't Moorish science. That ain't Moorish science. They're not teaching you through the Moorish Quran. No disrespect to anybody, but any religion is teaching you that the God is outside of yourself. So how can you say you a Moor and you wearing your fez and you saying God and man is one and you represent the Asiatic woman, understanding this 9 to the 9 to the 9th power, but then you go pray to something outside of yourself? You got to be kidding me. And the action was recognizing the force of light and sound as the omnipotent giver of life and accept of that life in human, in the mud, in the body, in the flesh. That's why the definition of the old time African religion is law. Universal law in harmony with the self. That's why our Prophet Noble Drew Ali called this law Islamism. 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 Our Prophet, Islamism. What is Islamism? Sufism, Hebrewism. And before all the religions, you got to understand what Zoroastrianism. I saw more demonstrating, talking about Noble Drew Ali believed in all this Zoroastrianism. I said, Noble. I looked, there was like Brother Bay is in the house. And the dude was talking about he was a scholar. I didn't even stay long. I said, so if everything come from a place, if we could synchronize this, what is Zoroastrianism? Believing in God and man is one. Believing in the one God theory. Believing in monotheism. What are you talking about? And I just shook everybody's hand and left. See, we'll let somebody talk about something that nobody know, and then you think they know, and then when somebody come that tell you that that's garbage and prove it that that's garbage, they get mad. I saw more demonstrating with a book, a European book, No Disrespect, by Zachariah Stitchin. Man, I destroyed that Anunnaki garbage on the college campus. Man, that dude been proven a fraud by all his so-called scholars. colleagues. He couldn't interpret none of that crap. He made all that crap up. I know Moore's got that on their page, Zachariah Stench and Anunnaki, and they posted. I said, the thing you should do about any literature and any science is research the researcher. You must research the common dating. You must trace the pen. You must trace the language. If you're not willing to do that, you can't say you know science. You would take something and you believe it, and it's all hog to the wash. Period. And Islamism is the name of our religion. And the ancient forefathers called it the Egyptian mystery system. And the basis of the catechism and her multi-dimension children is founded upon the premises of serving a visible trinity of gods, which exists outside, not within man or woman. And in the world of dualities, you got to understand that Adam and Eve theory. Religions are social necessities per se, and they serve as reminders of man's rights and wrongs. We know this, man, right? Our prophet told us and reminded us our ancient forefathers were the Muslims and accepted Islam, which is peace, as early as drinking water. I mean, we accepted this out the womb. Don't you know you can do some stuff in the womb and that child comes out absolutely representing what you taught in the womb? Y'all don't understand this? If you drink and smoke, what's that child gonna come out? He gonna come out all having mental dysfunctions. You arguing with your spouse or somebody busting your head wide open. That child gonna come out timid out the womb. You eating McDonald's and all them fat burgers, that child gonna come out with certain genetic things. I'm telling you, man, everything is connected to the womb. All major Africans taught a portion of Islam. Prophet Muhammad descended through the African seed of Hagar, perfected the ancient Egyptian mysteries, and for the first time into the Arabic languages, and the transliteration of the ancient mystery system, the world's first religious creed, into a single Arabic expression, is pronounced al-Islam. You heard what I just said, expression, or Islam, meaning peace in Arabic. To this day, over 1 billion Muslims refer to this Islam, nor did he create or perfect a new religion. Islam was, and it will always be, the perfected religion. Its perfect path is portrayed in the creation and the fall of man and the story of Adam and Eve. And by the time Muhammad the first received the revelation in Havila, Havilah, Islamism had already been taught and practiced for over 20,000 years in ancient Kemet. We got to get the teachings right. Who told you that the so-called Muhammad was the last prophet? That don't even make sense. That's why I tell you, we deal with the teachings and we take what's valid and what's right for us. But don't get it twisted. I'm a doctor. We dissect everything. I get in the laboratory with my test tube and my beakers, and if I blow stuff up seeking the truth, so be it. Our prophet Noble Ali, a prophet of the Moorish Science Temple of America, tells us and teaches what is our religion? Islamism. Is it a new religion or an old-time religion? It's an old-time religion. The origin of Islamism, not Islam, mean the science or the adept philosophy of peace. Let me say this one more time. To get this for these religious Moors that talk about they going to the damn imams and in some al-Islam, I say our religion is Islamism. The origin of Islamism, not Islam. Not Islam. Means the science or the adept philosophy of peace. We are taught that the Moors, the religious way of their ancient forefathers, is understanding that God and man is one. So, log back on. We finna finish, man. We're going to do part 2 and we done. And then I'm going to go enjoy my day. So log back on. Islam.